Then we can weed them out. So then they can buy them, we can weed them out, and then we can ban them.
All right.
Are we recording?
Yes.
Or say when?
So now that's season 18. Season 18 is in the books. What we're really interested in is season 19. So here is the rotation page, and we're going to need something to make sense of this because it is just a gigantic list of cards. So I guess
I like to generally go to the ones that are like don't have all the hits, but I guess also we can filter by
like new.
I think
the
most.
Or you can just talk about your general thoughts. You can just go, Chris. You talk first. What are your general thoughts?
There's so many cards, it's hard to know.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna show us the cards that have never before been legal. Now, this will be a lot of Kaldheim cards and some other cards. The Kaldheim cards are probably not interesting, although I don't even know them all.
Wait, how do you pronounce it? No, I don't know how.
Kaldheim?
The new set. Kaldheim or
Kaldheim, probably.
I've never heard the word said, so I couldn't tell you.
So let's have a look at things that have never been legal. So this guy's just bizarre.
You go through every card. Just don't go through every card. Breakneck Berserker. How is this draft, Chad?
It's a different Berserker that I was thinking of. There is an interesting Berserker, but it's not this one. Okay, so Deafening Clarion seems like a really big pickup for PD. This is about the best 3-mana sweeper we've had. I think Sweltering Suns is also coming back this season. So depending on exactly what the constitution of your deck is, you may want this or that. But it's a pretty strong 3-mana sweeper. Definitely.
I think if we did have Sweltering Suns, I would like that card, but I like Sweltering Suns a lot.
I mean, if you just play
honestly
any creatures with 4 toughness, like
I mean, it's like a Tectonic Giant, Dark Dweller sort of thing. But then I can just play Sweltering Suns. Sometimes new cards are flashy, but sometimes you want to stick with the classics.
Yeah. Counter Squall is a sometimes fringe playable Magic card. It's just like a negate that makes them lose 2 life. Kind of like the Dovin's Veto.
But we have literal counterspell, which I'm sure we'll get to. So.
Yes, that seems more important.
Literal counterspell is good.
Ravenous Trap is a really nice pickup if anyone's
this one's interesting for
Grave
sure.
Troll is going out, but Stinkweed Imp is staying. And like this card has been vintage playable.
Free cards are good. Free spells are good.
I mean, this makes me a lot less worried. Because people will always find a way around like a permanent base Graveyard Hate.
Yeah.
But it's very hard for like a Hermit Druid deck to beat a Ravenous Trap.
Yeah, I agree.
They would have to to rescue, and then they'd have to rescue. They would have to say 2 traps, and then you're just like, I don't know now. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I think if I don't know what else has been spoiled or whatever. Maybe if it had Dispel or other random counter magic. It really depends.
Right. But I'm saying if you had both a Nihil Spellbomb and a Ravenous Trap, that is
Yeah.
They have to think twice. They really have to that's when sideboarding comes into play, but they really have to think twice about what they do.
I'm sure someone will try to make Mirror Gallery playable.
You can even play against Aggro Slide if they don't play around them cycling 3 cards.
True.
Yeah, I think Ravenous Trap will see a lot of play. It depends on what the graveyard decks are
I mean,
doing.
it only
Because maybe you'll just put 1 card in your graveyard and it won't do it.
It's totally fine as a card baseline.
Yeah.
Then Cryptic Command made it in. In the form of Mistbind Click. I mean, there was a time in Standard where your blue-black opponent got to 4 mana and you weren't ever going to do anything again because they were going to tap all of something for the rest of the game. I don't know if this card even exists without Bitter Blossom. Probably not. There probably aren't enough fairies, but it was damn good in Standard, In your upkeep, make a 4/4. You can't play any spells this turn. Next turn, attack you for 4. In your upkeep, make a 4/4. You can't play any spells this turn. Next turn, attack you for 8. That was how games ended in 2008.
I am interested in trying this card.
Me too.
Alongside Counterspell, I think there's a good shell for things. This is one of I think people have dismissed it already.
It's a real aggro control card, but it does mean you need to consistently have a fairy
we can dismiss things in a theoretical format, but I think there's it depends on everything else. I don't really get going until I can see the whole picture and Scryfall stuff like that. I
not being able to Scryfall
of things, or not strong opinions about anything or not weak opinions, but I know that it could be fine. Like decks just take champions.
I mean, the thing about like mono blue, like tempo style decks is that, like, I think they're in the market for most flash threats. Like 4 is pretty high up on the curve, but I could see this.
I think the real issue is not going to be is it good enough to tap your opponent out and make a 4/4 flyer at instant speed in their upkeep. The question is going to be, are there enough playable fairies that you can reliably have on play? Because
I mean,
part of the point of this card was that Bitter Blossom is itself a fairy. So even if you had been swept with a Wrath of God, you could still resolve this card because you could champion your Bitter Blossom, which maybe was killing you. So you maybe wanted it to go away. So it was even an upside sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And this is going to be like Fairy Miscreant, Fairy Vandal that you don't want to disappear because it loses its counters, and Pestamite, and like that's a much less exciting set of things. Maybe there's like some Una's Blackguard action, like blue-black fairies. Maybe we'll see. It's an interesting card anyway. Worth.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to see the whole picture, so I can't dismiss it. I don't dismiss anything when it starts.
I don't think Jace the Living Guild Pact is an interesting enough Planeswalker to talk about. It's just the same.
I don't know. What does it do again?
I think that card's really bad.
Plus, draw a card, minus protect yourself a little bit.
I don't actually remember what it does. I think it mills people.
Win the game. So this is like a little bit of card selection and draw.
So it's a nagging thought on the plus. It bounces something. It's an SDK.
Yeah, it's like fixed Jace TM.
It's a Misraven. I'm sorry, it's a Misraven.
This card's like pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, it's when
if you're only dealing with one threat, I think it's fine. I think like Planeswalkers that draw cards are good. I mean, people didn't like Dovan Ban, and that card was fine.
It was pretty bad.
You know what I mean? So I don't like I said, a Planeswalker is a Planeswalker. It's good. I think it's going to be good, like no matter how you put it. And
Personal Howling Mine. It might be good in like blue-white control.
Yeah,
not as good as the Mindstorm.
Everything has a place, I think.
Then we have this little combo wonder.
Yeah, this card. I think people are gonna. I think this card's kind of janky, but I think that I will lose to it at some point.
It sort of strikes me as being a Jeskai Ascendancy that costs 1 more mana, but it does let you play a land immediately and then go off. So I guess maybe it's the same as
it's like Grafted Skullcap with like.
Puts you in one less colour than Jeskai Ascendancy usually puts you in, which might be a deal maker.
It's like super Grafted Skullcap.
I mean, it's like pretty broken text box. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, it's nutty. I mean, if you could start.
Honestly, if you cast like a Frantic Surge with this out, this is actually insane. But I don't know where you go from there. I mean,
Treasure Cruise, obviously. Now you've got all this crap in your graveyard and whatever. It just red rituals and treasure cruises, and somehow there's a Sylvan Caryatid in place.
Anyway, you could grape shot someone, I guess.
It's gonna be interesting to see what people do with this. I think it might. It'll probably be like on the same level as Jeskai Ascendancy, or maybe actually worse. But it's interesting. Goblin Piledriver is a tasty pickup. I mean, he still dies to Burst Lightning, no matter how big he gets. So I don't know. It's not really on the level of like Lackey or even like Ringleader and Nature and things that we already have. But maybe in like 8-whack, so we're getting Goblin, Bushwhacker, and the other one with Surge. So maybe he's like a really key extra 12 damage in that deck or whatever.
You kind of missed out on like Mem Knights and stuff like that. I don't know if you, like I said, it's hard to like really figure it out, like what is the best. But I think
that's what
you'll kill a lot of people with Piledriver.
That's what we're doing now.
Someone will tap out, and then someone will die to a Piledriver in some point.
Yeah. I mean, Piledriver combos with the Lords that grant haste, which I think we probably still have. This is a really nice pickup for like mono black decks and decks that can't deal with certain things and tokens. And this is just this was a modern playable card at some point. This is a pretty strong Magic card. I've already had all my pack rats killed with it in a test game.
Click the link that Flaco put. It's almost he's actually done this already. It's in the Zoom chat.
It's
like someone prepared.
Nice.
Someone actually prepared something.
I did think in advance that I'd use the very slow search to do that. But okay, so this is by CMC, but we can start at the top here.
Well, it's by type. It's just the default. Skyfall organizes first by type and then by CMC.
I see.
So sorry, maybe that's going to mess everything up if you've already talked about the card.
Well, we'll skip the ones we already talked about.
We were like a third. We were like 1%.
This is way better.
Yeah, it's a lot better because we don't have
Can you
to
make
like,
your screen bigger?
No.
Don't worry about it. Actually, I don't think you know how to do that.
You can control plus to zoom in. On
Look.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know MacBooks. Can't tell you. Don't worry. I'll just go. Just start talking.
I mean,
That might say-
I'm now
oh, there we go, you
150% zoom, but the picture in front of me
Yeah,
has not
that,
changed.
that
Oh, there
makes
we
a
go.
fun
It's
one.
just
I mean, we
slow.
didn't have it in the Affinity season, which is a pretty big miss, but. it might
I
be
mean,
stuff-
Drum comes back, so
it big enough for you?
It could do some other nonsense with Drum. You could see
Right.
like I think people were talking about like snow decks with
Yeah, I think
Astrolabe
Memnite's
and
just
Drum, maybe. Be like
a busted card, isn't it? You know, it's a creature with power for 0 mana. It's also an artifact. People will put it in combo decks. People will, you know, you can just use it with Drum or whatever, like you say. But I think also like it may even go in aggro decks or go wide aggro decks with this fellow Goblin Bushwhacker. Like
Yeah, agreed.
it's probably just actively good, although it is ultimately
it's
a
going
whole
to
card
enable
for a
some
1/1.
broken starts. That's for sure.
We kind of talked about
It's an
Bushwhacker.
enabler.
I mean,
That's the best
Bushwhacker
part.
is
That's the best
just
way to describe it, mate. It's an enabler.
Bushwhacker is just make some goblin tokens and then kick a Bushwhacker, right? More
It's like a
martial.
combo. It's like an aggro combo deck. I mean,
Could
it is a
theoretically
combo.
put it
It's-
in with Empty the Warrens and Red Rituals.
I don't
and
think
kind of
there's.
be more
I don't know.
combo-ish.
I don't think there's like Burning Tree Emissary, right?
No.
I don't think it's legal. So that's like really the because like on baseline that's what like.
Enables.
I don't know if you play rituals. Actually, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably we can copy the modern deck and we probably have most of the cards. Cabal
Yeah,
Therapist has been
you
much
just-
discussed in general, but I think the conclusion is that it's terrible and bad.
What therapist?
I think it's
Therapist,
interesting. I think it's. I don't know. It might be terrible and bad, but I think it's worth trying.
I think they're.
I mean, if
linear
you
combo
actively
decks,
want
it
your
might be
creatures
good.
to
Not really
die,
sure.
then you might as well also Cabal Therapy your opponent, I guess. So maybe there's a point at which it becomes good. Maybe it's good with things like Gutter Bones that recur. I don't know. If
It has
Hing
menace,
makes it
that's
in,
good.
which is not decided yet.
It's a 1/1 menace. Gutter Bones is a nice one too.
Yeah, Gutter Bones
I like
is
Gutter
sweet.
Bones.
We also have Dread Wanderer coming back.
Right.
So you can have as
And
many
there's
recursive
I think
2/1s
Clave
for
Shade.
blank
I
as
guess
you
we'll
want.
get to when we see CNC.
So there's probably
There's a lot of recursive black threats
Probably
and
some
the
mono black
artifact
aggro
creature,
action.
the Scrap Heap Scrounger. That deck builds itself basically, right?
Warden of
Yeah,
the First
I mean,
Tree is going to be
Especially if you have
completely-
Dark Ritual.
Going
That
to be
never
completely
comes.
overshadowed by Figure of Destiny, which is the original and much better version of the same thing. But people did play this card, I think, didn't they? I don't know why, but they did. It does get really big.
I think the problem with like Abzan is like with this card is that Abzan you really want to be like mid range and you have to play some tap lands, and then you're one drop like playing a 1-drop on like this card's pretty good if you have like if you go for 1-drop and then if you have like untapped land, untapped land, 1-drop, untapped land, you know,
Maybe you could
then this
range
card's
your
fine.
EOS
But
for
I feel
it.
like the way Abzan decks are going to play out, you're not going to be able to leverage this card very well.
Potentially, you could.
You don't
range
believe
your
in like
first one
Forest,
and make it-
Sunfellow Grove, and then I
I
don't
mean,
know,
maybe
tomorrow
like
Sunfellow
a
Grove.
it's Lesnia's type of deck. It's better, but
Yeah.
Sunfellow Grove was in, right? I forgot.
And we have much
Okay.
maligned Wayward Guide Beast, the bad Goblin Guide. I
It
don't
probably
know.
goes in the
This
the
card is,
Bushwhacker deck, maybe. I
this
mean,
card is probably fine.
well, once you only need like 3 lands, right? So
yeah.
who
I can see
cares? Who cares how many lands you need?
I think I
Yeah,
like
I
this
mean, but the thing
card.
is that
I like how it's like referencing Goblin Guide. Like Goblin Guide is chasing the Guide Beast.
You could pick up a Spikefield Hazard with that. That's pretty good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Like play that turn 1, have a tap land, and later each.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to be
Your card's
operating
valid.
on a very low land count to want this card in your deck, though, don't you? Like, you really need to be like all 1-drops red or something, because otherwise you just
Yeah, that's the
can't
Bushwhacker.
attack with it on turn 1, which is like not what you want of your hasty 1-drop. I don't know, like.
Yeah. I guess it is like. I mean, it's a card you can't really play on turn 1, but it is nice to surge it out with your Bushwhacker, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I want a 2/2 haste for 1 as my turn 3 play. Maybe I do. I
It
don't
has
know.
trample. It has trample though. That's actually pretty relevant when you're +4/+2ing or whatever.
I mean, 2 toughness on my red 1-drop is always welcome.
Do not talk about all these random cards. What would be your
No.
favorite?
Biomancer's Familiar
Just pick
is-
up things you like. And just talk
Biomancer's Familiar is worth mentioning on the basis that we also
Yeah.
have training grounds. So if you
There's
really
like
need to make
4 training ground
activated
effects,
abilities
isn't
cost
there?
2 less but no less than 1, There are 2 ways in the format to do it. I don't know what that breaks exactly, but
Isn't there the companion too? Isn't that another? Someone was saying though.
no,
like,
it's.
Training Grounds
yeah,
Pack
there's
Rat.
I'm pretty sure it only
Right,
affects
yeah.
creatures that are
Deserta
on
or
the
whatever?
battlefield.
Someone actually told me about like Training Grounds Pack Rat, and that could be like really good.
Dragon Whisperer has a lot of text, but is ultimately a 2/2 for 2, I think. Fauna Shaman. Fauna Shaman is an interesting card. Survival of the Fittest is busted and great. Now, this card is definitely not Survival of the Fittest, but you know, we have
Yes.
Rootwaller, we have Arrogant Worm, we have cards that want to be in the graveyard, we have reanimation spells, we have, you know.
Is this card good enough for Blue-Green Madness? Like, you can search a Wonder and you
I
can, like, you can
suspect
discard
not
Blue-Waller.
because of the mana cost to activate, but it might be that giving you all that selection is enough that you do want
Yeah, I
to
mean,
keep on-
like, you really want to find Wonder on some boards, right? So, like,
Yeah,
you discard
yeah,
your Rootwaller, you
yeah.
find your Wonder, and then you discard
Yeah.
your Wonder and find something
Yeah,
else.
I think that's
I
pretty.
mean, I think you could also play it in things like Varols, right? Like,
Yeah.
you just discard your Dreadnought, get your Varols, like, wham, that's
Yeah.
the whole deck in one green mana activation. So,
I can say a small story about Fauna Shaman. I remember an old like Callblade Standard. I played a green-white Callblades-esque deck with Fauna Shamans, Squadron Hawks, and like Vengevines, and I really like that. You could have like if you had a bunch of Squadron Hawks, you can discard
yeah,
them and
turn your
get better
Squadron Hawks
cards
into
over
whatever
time.
you need.
Or I mean,
That's
obviously
really
discarding
nice.
Vengevines is pretty broken, but like the deck has a lot of the card rather has a lot of different like possibilities.
For sure. It's not quite busted like Survival, where you just untap, make 4
Yeah.
Rootwallers, and
I mean,
Well,
it
it's
reminds
better.
me kind of like Hermit Druid, but the upside is a lot lower, right? But
Sure,
like Hermit Druid,
yeah.
you have to like warp your deck a lot more, obviously, and
Yeah.
you're doing something really degenerate.
I'll be
Like
I'll be
tutoring
interested to
on
see if
top
Fauna
trees.
Shaman's just like a 2 mana thing that dies to burst lightning, or if it's like a
Right.
red player. Like, for example, you could play it in like creature toolboxy deck that has Ramanap Excavator, Ghost Quarter for the Cloud Post matchup, but like doesn't want to be running 4 Ramanap Excavators or whatever. You know, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of possibilities when you can tutor your entire deck for a single mana, right? Anyway, it'd be interesting to
Yeah.
see if it makes it. I sort of suspect not, but we'll see. Here's another 2-drop that might make it. Hero of Precinct 1. So it's like,
I'm excited about this one.
yeah,
I think
whenever I look at like legacy decks or whatever, they're all like built around these like young Pyromancer, Dreadhorde Arcanist, you know, these kind of, even Goyf, like 2-drops with this like outsized impact on the game. And because of course that even Legacy wants those kind of cards, we don't get them. So anything that
Right.
looks even vaguely like that is exciting to me.
Yeah, I think this and the card we're about to talk about next, Joel Rail, are actually pretty similar, right? Like they're both like a 2-drop that can generate a lot of value, and they're
Yeah.
both kind of interesting
Yeah.
and different from anything else we've seen in PD. And I guess Pack Rat almost falls into that category
Yes,
too.
yeah, they're all on screen. The value
Yeah.
2-drops. Pack Rat does go with Biomancer's Familiar and Training Grounds to make Pack Rats for a single black mana. I've already been jamming that in the pre-season testing room. It's kind of all right. You need a lot of black mana to really take advantage of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Pack Rat is interesting because it's also a discard outlet, so you can like.
I like
Wait.
the idea of like if the Reanimator deck becomes a thing, like if you can play Reanimate
sideboard
Life
Pack
Death,
Rats.
then you can put Pack Rat in your sideboard,
Yeah.
and then you can like it like synergizes with your game plan a little bit slowly, but
I
you can
feel
also
like
if they have
Red
Graveyard, you
Black
can just Pack Rat 'em.
Reanimator in Legacy even does that. Like, okay, you're going to bring in 8 pieces of the graveyard. Hey, I'm going to kill you with some Pack Rats.
Yeah.
And like, it's not even turning off my main game plan. I'm still dumping like Chancellor of the Annex in
Right.
there or whatever, and I
Right.
you still have to play around my other plan. It's pretty
Right.
great. Lighthouse Chronologist, sadly, his activatability cannot be reduced by Training Grounds or by Mancer's Familiar, so he's rubbish.
I love
Mana-
Pack Rat though. I think it's on my high list of things to try.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a really strong effect that has different applications, especially in this format. I am worried about like people just playing mono red and Spurs lighting my guy, but then you have just backup plans of other
Yeah, I
things.
mean, 2-drops that must be killed is not the end of the
Yeah,
world,
it's
right?
it's like we talked about season 18. It's like Kiln Fiends. Like you have to kill this, otherwise it will just like dig over the game.
Yeah,
Right.
Mana West Sliver would be part of any like combo Slivers 5-color Slivers deck, but our mana is never good enough for that. And even though we're probably about to have our best ever mana season, I don't think that's changed. And I don't know. Slivers, yeah, people try it, but I don't think there's anything happening there. Kasali Pride
Priest
Mage is a
Oblivion.
sweet
Oh, I
pickup.
kind of glossed
for,
over
like,
the Null Priest. That card's actually not the worst in like a
This
black
card?
deck either. I don't know what deck it wants it,
Why
but
is there
it's
so much text? Why do cards have so much
it's a
text on
It's
it?
a 6-mana reanimate or a 2/1 menace lifelink. Oh, that's not happening. That's not a good card, I don't think. We'll see.
It just has like these like random evergreen cards stapled on it. This is how people make Magic cards now.
Well,
think
let's
that
kick
We
it
can't
for
figure
you.
it out. It's just,
I do like the Pride Mage though.
Pride Mage is very
Pride Mage is
strong.
sick.
Pride Mage makes me wonder about like Value Town, Fauna Shaman, Ramanap Excavator, Dryad
Yeah.
Militant, like vaguely disruptive, answers to everything somewhere in the 75, kind of green, white, or junk. You know,
Yeah.
this is just a
turn
plain
one like
good
dried
card.
military, turn two
It's
pride
also-
mage is like
it's
completely
also-
main deckable.
It's also
The
just
full
another
cat.
good-
Yeah,
It's
Also
also
cat.
another good cat. Yeah, I was gonna say we got another good cat in the house.
all the
So
best cats are also wizards. That is well known. Yeah, really good card. I don't know. Probably
Really good with Training
quite
Grounds,
fair.
right?
Like they used to play. They used to play it in Maverick and Legacy when that was a thing. I don't know if what our Maverick would be with no Mother of Runes, no Thalia or whatever, but maybe.
well, Maverick is mostly a Green Sun Zenith deck.
That's true. It also ramps on turn one with Green Sun Zenith in that strange way. I don't know what this card is. It's got too many words on it.
The cat. Let's go with the cat
This
decks.
card's all right. It's like Pride of the Clouds or whatever that card was
It
called.
makes cats. It actually makes cats. It's actually really good.
Cat bird. Wow.
Because
It
you need a
itself
mana
is not a
sink.
bird though. Anyway. Yeah, maybe
think
some,
Skyclave
maybe
Shade
some
is really
Skies
strong.
deck wants a big fat mother with some late game mana sink potential. Skyclave Shade is played in standard, I guess. Like never dies. It's just a
Wait, what
3/1.
the heck? This thing is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a blood gas that you have to cast, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
that's still good.
Whatever our mono black aggro dark ritualing out on turn one is like gonna come back over and over again forever, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty wild. Late game, big thing. Strong
I'm surprised we never had this card before, but I think that card, Strongbow Crusader, is quite strong also.
Yeah, this is like the Cold Snap update on the original ones, right? This is a different
Yeah.
one.
But think
Yeah.
about this against Heroic. Like, that just brick walls them. Like,
Yeah,
you can get
I
flying.
have actually played cards like this in my sideboard in mono black aggro in previous seasons. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if you really have like tons of spare
Why is
mana.
Tomek in here? Are these cards? Wait, what?
Tithe Taker is pretty good.
Tithe Taker,
Fine.
I mean, there's a lot of words on this. Makes countering things harder.
Yeah,
makes
the most
killing
relevant
things
thing
harder.
is that it's got Afterlife 1, I guess, in your White Weenie deck, which you want in your White
Oh,
Weenie
is
deck.
it?
Yeah, it turns the
Mode?
sweeper
I
off
didn't know
for a
there was
turn,
a
and when it
mode.
does come, you've still got a creature left afterwards. Probably goes in white weenie, any white
We
weenie.
have Tomek? That's crazy.
I don't know what Tomek is. It's an anti-wasteland.
Tomek is like a
card. It's
very
also
weird
2/3
hate bear
fly.
that works against very specific things.
Crazy.
I don't know if it's relevant at all in Penny Dreadful, but it is a 2/3 flyer for 2, which is not
Good against Ramanap Excavator in the random value creatures mirror.
right. Exactly. It hates out like Life from the Loam or Wasteland or like things like that.
We don't.
Wait,
not-
this
not
is like
much-
an anti-Ponza nonsense. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you want it if people are stone raining.
And then it hates out the
It is a 2/3
The
flyer
Ramanap
for white
Excavator,
as well. Like it doesn't,
whatever
its
the
ability
3/7
doesn't even need to
shaman
do
is,
anything to be
mountains.
okay.
that fogs people. The heck?
Vantress Gargoyle is a really interesting card to me. It gets played in standard rogues, so it's not low power. Like early on, it's a 5/4 blocker. Enables itself. Late on, it's a 5/4 attacker. It costs 2 mana. I'm kind of excited by this card, although the hot takes in general on the Discord were less enthusiastic and told me it was unplayable. I don't know. This guy is not really a 2-drop, and I'm sure is bad. Onto the 3s. I don't know what this thing does, or this thing.
Ayara is pretty nice in like an Aristocrats deck. Might even be good in the mono black as a curve top runner mono black deck.
It's like one time a turn sack outlet that also draws cards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want my sack outlets to be free and infinite, really, in Aristocrats.
Well,
I like drawing
Yeah.
cards though.
Yeah, I think this card's like not that bad.
yeah,
especially
means
when
you don't
use
have
it
to
with, like,
assemble
the-
both a sack outlet and a thing that wants to die and a Grim Haruspex. You can, or Midnight Reaper. You can just do one of the above. Yeah.
It could be really good with like Red Cap if that's coming back. I don't know, but
Here's
Yeah,
a
persist.
mana war on drugs. I guess Azorius Wave will probably play this card as a one-off.
Yeah.
That's just planeswalkers. That's silly.
So you can bounce your Parallax Wave back to your hand and draw a card as well as, and then replay your Parallax Wave. I don't know. It's Mana War, but considerably better, right?
Yeah.
So you probably play one in the inevitable Parallax Wave deck, which is surely coming. Blade Splicer, also probably good in Parallax Wave.
Blade Splicer's great.
Just
It's
as
gonna,
Jimmy,
it's gonna enable a bunch of like.
it's four
eight
power
bears
and 4
decks.
toughness with trick potential in 2 bodies for 3 mana.
I'm sure there's some sort of like ephemerate
I wonder if
Raven
Blade Splicer is
Spectre
good
guy,
enough that it
Blade
makes
Spectre
Honor of the
person
Pure
that's just
bad.
like, they're just like, yeah, we're doing it. We're finally doing it.
Making 3
like-
threes.
And this is good. It's good. It's good when you blink it, obviously. No resto, but I mean, who needs resto?
Yeah. But the thing is, it's good on its face, right? Like it beats down and kills your opponent on its face, and then it has trick potential. It's not like, Fibblethip or something where you need to do a bunch of shit for it to be like. It's also a threat, so it's nice. 4 powers is enough to be a real threat. This guy, I don't know. Feather the Redeemed is interesting. Is it enough to draw Heroic into a second color? Probably not, but it does a whole fucking
Yeah, I
lot.
think so. Wait, no, I like this card a lot.
I mean, it's a 3/4 flyer that makes
I mean, I
all
think
of
Feather's
your
really
cards
good. I don't
infinite.
know. I think that Mono White Heroic probably is better, but I'm still gonna try to play it because I think Mono White Heroic's really boring.
Yeah, this card
so-
is this
Yeah,
card
I
is
mean,
nuts.
it changes the deck a lot. You get to play like Defiant Strike, which would just keep recurring, drawing more
Right.
cards.
Right
I'm
down.
waiting to see what other kind of like cantrip effects I could just jam into there.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's a very powerful Magic card. Obviously, we didn't
Base
get
stats alone,
Battlefield
3/4
Forge, so
flyers
for
is
white red.
good.
Oh, the other interesting thing is we have Snow Covered Mountain and probably will have Snow Covered Plains. So if you want to do snow things in this deck, you can. I don't know if that's relevant. Goblin Chain Whirler played a lot in Standard. I mean, it was incredibly common in that Standard, wasn't it? I guess it's deceptively
I
powerful
played it.
because whenever I look at it,
played
I'm not excited.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Um,
Chain Whirler's quite strong. I
Combined
guess
with Death
usually
Touch
Red Deck wins isn't
Granters.
on board for 3 drops. I mean, a lot of them play like 20 lands.
I think it
But,
destroys the mirror. I like.
Yeah, I mean, I would play it. I would up my land. I would put up my land count and play Chain Whirler in my
It
Red
also
decks,
makes
but
me
I'm
wonder
I'm
about
like,
the
I think
Minotaur
that's
that has
good.
devotion.
I don't know if people will do it, but I would do it.
It's also the
It's
perfect
Planeswalkers.
3 in mono red
Ridiculous.
devotion, right? Because it's triple red. So if we have
You're
the
like
Minotaur,
breaking up.
You're breaking up, Tom. We can't really hear.
My internet is.
It's California internet. Just-
It's my cable internet. It's just so bad on the upload speed for reasons that I don't understand. Now I'm being taken to the Zoom upgrade.
God, we have 10 minutes.
Gruul
No.
Spellbaker is
Only
played
3
in
drops.
in Standard. It's pretty disruptive for a 4/4 for 3 or 3/3 haste trample for 3. It's pretty strong.
Wait, how many cards are there? We cannot go through all these.
We're only
Your
talking about
internet's
the
gonna
interesting
crap
ones,
out.
although it is
We're gonna
amazing
go
how
through
many
like
of these
30
are
Zoom
interesting.
calls before the end of this.
Harkon is cute but probably bad, although you can bury it alive for Harkon and 2 other knights and off you go. Jade Light Ranger also played a lot in Standard. A little bit of graveyard synergy, just a kind of value card.
I'm playing it in my like. I'm actually gonna play this in my weird green-white Blade Splicer, Thraben Inspector, Jadelight Ranger deck.
Fair enough.
That's
I
the
mean,
deck.
Deadline Hero is a fun value card. I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just
it was
value,
played a lot in
value,
Standard.
value,
It's
value.
good. This companion is
Yeah.
all
I mean, that deck- that
blue-white
keeps
control
getting
decks
stronger.
now have 14
Cat
card
companion.
sideboards because they're going to play this stupid
It's
thing.
another cat. It's just a.
Well, I think it it may or may not be.
Well, you don't even
Like,
have to play this as a companion. It's just another lord, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to play it as a companion.
Yeah.
I
It's just
think the
another
main
lord.
But I
use
think,
of
like,
this
the
card
fact that
is
you
as a
Play a
ridiculous
free companion.
free
You just start
sideboard
your
card
card deck with
in
the
a
with another
creature's
card
deck.
deck. Seems pretty good to me.
Because Elden Mammoth is good enough for
Yeah,
Standard.
either or.
Again, another Standard card. That
Wait, I don't know anything about. Wait, hold on. I don't know anything about companions. Can you have a companion but then have other companions in the deck? Like, can you have the
Yes.
other?
You could
Okay,
have
so you could have.
Kahira- That's true. You could have Kahira as your companion and then play more Kahiras in your main deck because it meets the criteria of being a cat. Although it is legendary, so there is some
Yeah,
downside to that.
and
Probably worth it.
It might be. I mean, there's a lot of cat lords though, so you probably don't.
yeah,
need
it's the worst cat lord that
Yeah,
you can
more
get
powerful.
one
Well,
for
if you
free
want
in
to
your
be like
sideboard. I
mono
think
white,
I
it's-
see
it's
this
not
much
good.
That's
more
true.
as a
Yeah, you
blue-white
don't wanna-
control card personally, but we'll see which way it falls. Cassandra Mammoth is.
You have to cut this
a
entire thing,
forest.
Baker. You're just dying. Your internet's just dying.
I wonder if like, he's the one reporting it, so maybe on his side it's coming out normal.
I don't know. But then we're just responding to him when we don't even know what he's saying. We're just saying things. We're just like saying things.
Kazandu Mammoth, that card's pretty good.
Wait, that exemplars? What? Speaking of tribal decks,
Kira is also great.
in my like Esper Lingering Souls that's not yet available card.
No, I mean I think Kira's pretty good in the Dreadnought deck as like in the 75. It protects your Dreadnought.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 3 mana's a lot, but
yeah. I mean, they used to play it in Merfolk, even though it wasn't a Merfolk, because it was
They
so
did.
useful. So I
Yeah.
imagine, given that it's on that kind of power level, that it will find a home in, Mono Blue Tempo.
Definitely you're losing Lightning Greaves.
right.
So it
you
probably
lose
takes the
Lightning
Lightning
Greaves.
Greaves spot.
So maybe you want to play Kira in that slot. Yeah, I could see that.
All I know
Crazy
about
Night
Kuna
Lord.
Ross
Those
is
are
that he's bugged.
That mammoth is by the way, that mammoth is the best dual-faced land we've had gotten, I think.
Yeah, I think the Mammoth
It's
is
pretty
really good.
strong.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I don't really want to play a tap forest in my aggro
As-
deck, but it is pretty strong. It's like an actual
Everything's
good
struggling.
creature.
Oh my god, this guy's struggling.
All right, well, let's stop here and we'll restart and I'll see if I can fix it. And we discuss the rest of the new card.